How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. I'm back. It's been over a week. Just needed to take a step back and take a break and also evaluate what I wanted to do with the channel with all the bundle changes and all that kind of stuff. But we're back with some day one deck videos for you guys, and this time it's for Meek. He is a 1 cost, 1 power. After each turn, if you discarded any cards, gain +1 power for each and move. Important to note, you will get +1 power for every card discarded, and then he's only going to move once. So he's not just going to bounce around. You can't just throw Craven down and buff it 3 times every turn with a bunch of discards. So just 1 time move and +1 for each card. Now, I don't think this card's going to be a build around card. I don't think it's even a 100% necessary card to pick up, but I think he's going to slot into a few existing archetypes really well and maybe spawn slightly like a new one. But I'm not sure. You really have to discard a good amount of cards or take advantage of his move ability to get enough value out of him to justify playing him over something else. If you're playing him in a regular discard deck, you discard 3 cards, it becomes a 1/4, and you could play a 1/3 with an ability or 1/2 with a stronger ability, and so you really have to weigh if it's worth it. And so you kind of have to take advantage of his abilities, either the move or the +1 per card discarded, in order to get full value out of him. So let's take a look at the first deck. It is the Hela deck. Meek has essentially replaced Black Cat in this list, so a little bit less power if you can get the Hela off, but it gives you a target to throw into Lockjaw for cheap, and it also gives you a target that if it gets pulled from Lockjaw, it can get moved out of the way. Now it can also get moved in the way, but I think the trade-off of having him to play into Lockjaw for cheap or having him move out if he gets pulled is just worth it. So I think it's going to work really well in this deck. This deck actually has a 57% win rate currently on Untapped with the Black Cat in there. I think it's going to do better with Meek. I think Meek just slots in really well into this deck. I would also consider, instead of playing Giganto for that extra power, you could play Scar. I think though, because you're giving up some power with Black Cat, having that extra power with Giganto might be good. However, cheating stuff out with Lockjaw and playing Scar for cheap is also really good too. So I'd probably try either with Giganto or Scar. Up to you. If you have Scar, give him a shot. Let me know in the comments if that works out for you. The next deck is a MODOK deck. So MODOK is going to give you +1 power, or Meek is going to give you +1 power for each card that MODOK discards. So if you have a handful of stuff, if you made more swarms, let's say, and you have a handful of 7 cards, you play MODOK, will discard 6 cards, and Meek is going to get a lot bigger than he normally would if you're just playing, the Lady Stiffs, the Blades and everything. So really trying to take advantage of Meek, but still an existing archetype. The original deck played Gambit instead of Meek, and I think with Kyera being in the game and just some protection out there for some of these bigger 6 drops, Gambit has less good targets to hit, and so I think his power comes down just slightly. And I think Meek might be a good replacement for him. It's going to slot in really well in this deck, taking advantage of Hellcow, Lady Sif, Dracula, Colleen, Blade. All of these discard cards are going to get Meek really big because you're running a lot of them, and then of course MODOK for that big turn 5 or even turn 6, depending on the situation that you're in. This is the deck I'm probably most excited to play. I haven't played a lot of discard like this for a while. It's been mostly the Hela type lists, and so I'm excited to give this one a shot again and play MODOK again, and I think it's just going to slot in really well. The next deck is actually by Zombies Go Nom Nom. Sometimes I feature his decks on these videos. I think he comes up with really creative stuff. I don't know how good this one is going to be, but the idea with this is you're trying to take advantage of Meek's move ability. Like I said before, if you're just discarding, 3 or 4 cards, 2 or 3 cards, Meek's only going to get up to like a 1/5. And while that's still good, it's not the best that you can be doing with a 1-drop. And so trying to take advantage of the move ability with Craven and trying to get that extra bounce into the Craven lane, I think is going to be really good when it works out, but I don't know how consistent it's going to be. Storm is going to be able to lock down a lane. You'll be able to bounce Meek into there or bounce him out, depending on what you need for the game. So this deck looked really interesting, and it looks promising, and again, trying to take advantage of one of Meek's abilities in the move ability and trying to get the most value out of him. You're also running MODOK, of course, to get that that turn that I just talked about with the last deck, where you're discarding a bunch of cards and getting Meek really big. Those are the 3 decks that I'm going to try. I'm really excited for this move list just to give it a shot. I don't know how good it's going to be. I'm probably the least optimistic as far as power level is concerned with this move list, but it does look fun, and any new archetype or new idea I'm open to and excited for. As far as the other 2 lists, I think the MODOK list is going to perform closer to its original list than any of these other decks that I've shown you, but I think this Hela deck has probably the highest ceiling and is really promising. The ability to have just another card that synergizes well, that you can throw into Lockjaw, I think is really good. And while you're not taking advantage of his move ability, you know, you can kind of guide where you want him to go. And anyways, I'm really excited for Meek. I don't think it's a huge build around card, but I think it's just a really good piece, really good tool to add to these discard lists. So I do deck videos like this. I do day 1 deck videos for all the new cards coming to Marvel Snap. I do bundle breakdowns. I don't know how long that's going to be going if they're not telling us the bundles ahead of time, but I'll keep trying to bring those to you as best as I can. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And as usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.